Hello, hello to all. Olá a todos, a todas, a todes. Este Wikidata Lab é o de número 33 e nós vamos apresentá-lo em português, ou em inglês, desculpa. Então eu vou trocar para o inglês. Hello to all. This Wikidata Lab will be presented in English, and I'll just start sharing my presentation with you. This is the Wikidata Lab 33, and this event is promoted by the Wiki Movimento Brasil user group, the Brazilian affiliate of the Wikimedia Foundation. Let me just add here. Sorry for the background noise. It's afternoon in São Paulo. It's just noisy. Let me put myself here. Okay. So this Wikidata Lab is the number 33, and the topic is mapping of cultural heritage. So first, who am I? My name is Éder Porto. I'm an applied mathematician, software developer, and graphic designer, plus Wikimedian, based on São Paulo, Brazil. And I'm products and resources manager at the Wiki Movimento Brasil user group since 2020. And I'm Wiki Loves Monuments Brazil organizer since 2019. So the topic is cultural heritage, specific the mapping of this cultural heritage on the Wiki universe. So what is cultural heritage? We have a definition by Lemos in 2017 that describes cultural heritage of a country, a nation, a group of people, as the union between the natural heritage or natural patrimony, the intangible heritage or folklore of these people, and the historical heritage, the built patrimony. And all of these together combined makes the cultural heritage. And I want to share with you the status of the coordinates of cultural heritage items on Wikidata as of today. So we have Wikidata, that is a database with a lot of information, open information in public domain or CC0 license metadata. And one big group of items is the cultural heritage items, the items that have the property P1435 set, that is the heritage designation property on Wikidata, and we have 2 million items on of cultural heritage items that is that have this property on Wikidata. The problem here is that we have these 2 million items, and for some countries and some regions, we have not much coverage of the coordinates of these items. And I will explain why this is important in our context. But overall, we have around 90% of coverage of monuments in the Wikidata database. This country, the most covered country is the Denmark, that has 99.98% of its monuments with coordinates. I think they have only 5 to 10 monuments that don't have these coordinates. And here's a chart showing the top 22, I think, the countries with more than 10,000 monuments registered on Wikidata and its coverage of coordinates. So you have Denmark here in the middle, and you have the UK with the most number of monuments. This chart is sorted by the number of monuments, being Brazil the last one with more than 10,000 monuments. And in Brazil, we have 56% of coverage of coordinates. So why are geographic coordinates important for cultural heritage sites items on Wikidata? So once we have these items put on Wikidata, they appear, for example, in automatic lists. They can be found via an API, and they can be searched, and they go through to the search engines like Google, Bing, and others, and they appear in the internet. But a relevant information that is often missing, at least for some countries and some regions, and this is the context of Brazil, for example, is that we don't have the coordinate of this monument or this item available on Wikidata. This information might exist in the internet or in a government database, for example, or other cultural sites, websites that catalog this information, but we don't at this moment have a lot of coverage with these monuments. In the chart that I showed, it's clear to see that the most coverage occurs in Europe and the North America, and we have fewer countries with monuments with a high coverage of geographic coordinates. And I think the practical example of why this is important is the photograph competitions that we promote on the Wikimedia universe. And we have making a link to the Lemos 2017 kind of diagram. We have natural patrimony or natural heritage with the photograph competition Wiki Loves Earth, and we have cultural and folk patrimony heritage with Wiki Loves Folklore, and we have built the historical heritage with Wiki Loves Monuments, and we have this triad of photograph competitions on Wiki that promote all three aspects of this cultural heritage. In Brazil, I'll take Brazil as an example, as a study case. Here is a map of the Brazilian states by percentage of monuments without images in Wikidata. And the interesting part of this is that we found a correlation, thinking about the analysis of these photograph competitions. We have identified a high correlation between the number of images and the coordinates statements in Wikidata. So if you have a monument with a coordinate, he has a higher probability of get or have an image available on Wikimedia Commons. So this raises the question, if people can't find the monuments or the monument in the maps, how will they photograph it? This is a question that we need to make in order to improve our the contributions that are made in these photograph competitions. So this is the map of Brazilian states of monuments without coordinates in Wikidata. And you see that we have a high coverage for the north region because they have a smaller number of monuments, but we have fewer coverage for the south, for example, and for the southwest region that has the most number of monuments. So we have a lot of monuments, but we don't have the coordinates. How will people find it? And we have a difficult situation in the north and in the northwest region, specifically the state of Amapá and the state of Rio Grande do Norte. And this is an issue. The lack of geographic coordinates is an issue for these specific photographic competitions, and is a report that we receive, and it's a problem that we face on these competitions regularly. We receive reports of users not finding their monuments on the lists because the list is too big or the list doesn't have the coordinate. We don't have a system to show where the monuments are in the map. So we receive these reports also from other organizers. Wiki Loves Earth organizers. Wiki Loves Monuments is a we face this every time we are building the lists and the project, the competition each year. And that is, we have a list of monuments, or we have a list of items, cultural heritage items, that we don't have the coordinates, and would be so much precious for us to have these coordinates in order to, for example, organize a photograph walk. So people can organize this kind of smaller events to photograph, make an itinerary on their walks to photograph these monuments that don't have images, for example, or have only one image on Wikimedia Commons. So adding geographic coordinates has the potential to help these photographers to build an itinerary on their walks. We have reports of photographers that make these itineraries, plan their trip according to the itinerary they build on the lists and the maps. The maps is a huge step that we added last year, and people said that was crucial for their finding the monument, because the street name changes. A lot of streets don't have numbers, so in which point of the street is this building? So the coordinates helps to find them. Has the potential to help organizers to disambiguate possible duplicates. If you have two monuments on the same spot on the map, are they two monuments that have the precision right or wrong? Or if they have the same name and the same coordinates, probably they are duplicates. So we need to investigate that and fix it. So this is a job of the organizer and people, volunteers that work on merging and fixing duplicates on Wikidata. And also encourages people to discover and photograph nearby monuments. I have a monument in 3 kilometers of me in my location right now that doesn't have a photo of it in Wikimedia Commons, and it's really sad to see this red point, this red dot ping on the map, and not I didn't I know the monument, but it is not photographed yet. I didn't know it didn't have a photograph on Wikimedia Commons, and as soon as I leave my house, I will photograph it. So here I show the Wikimedia maps with no information, and that's a representation of the lack of coordinates. And why I'm talking about these photograph competitions. So the photograph competitions in the Wikimedia movement is one of many, but is one recurrent event that constitutes an effective method of motivation and animation of the community. So we come together as a community and build the infrastructure that is needed to exist to this competition rose, and we help bring new contributors to the community by requesting them to photograph a monument nearby them or a monument they visited. Doesn't need to be on the time of the event. It can be old photo, for example. So this is an analysis fresh from the oven by Sigo, published last week, I think, an article about these photograph contests as a method of motivation of the community. And in this article, it cites another article by Oseja and Sierra Obregon, and they analyze that this type of competition performs better if it contains gamification elements and improves the user experience with the actions in its actions in this contest. So why I'm citing these three authors is because of the gamification event. We have seen that it is an effective method of motivation. We have a lack of contributors the last years, mostly because of the pandemic, but we also have a lot of number of images contributed by few photographers. And one element each year, we need to improve our lists and the competition itself. And we every year we try to learn from the past experiences, consult with the users, and get even more user experience guided. So the person contributing doesn't need to understand the wiki universe. They only need to understand that their image is available in CC BY SA license, and they need to know that their image can be and mostly will be spread to the universe, and they can contribute to the objective of the contest. They don't need to know wiki markup for contribution. They don't need to know what Wikidata is, because we are talking about new users that don't have a guide on a wiki guide counselor to help them understand all the projects and all the dynamics on the projects. They just want to upload their photo, and they want an easy way to do this. So each year we think of new things to improve in our lists and and on our competition. And the gamification is the word that uh, we are trying to reach this year. So the gamification is bringing game elements to non-game events or competitions. So basically improving the user experience to help them upload their photos in a easier way, and help them find their monuments uh, faster, and help them contribute to the wiki movement uh, using these elements. And for this gamification and thinking about the coordinates of these monuments, people need to find the monuments on a map. Map is the easier way to find the monuments, because they can search nearby monuments, they can search places they went on vacation, for example, and they can see which monument has or hasn't an image. In Brazil, we have a special prize for the contributors that contribute most with monuments without an image on Wikidata, to encourage them to contribute images of these monuments that don't have an image. And there are a few already in place, in running uh, interactive maps. One is the Wiki Loves Monuments Italia, developed by Ferdinando Traversa, and it is a mobile app as well. And I think it's a mobile app only. I don't know if it's desktop, but where you can see the monuments that don't have an image, that have an image, and you can contribute. Click on the monument and send the image of it. We have Wiki Loves Monuments UK, developed by Magnus Mansky, and it's a tool forge application where you can see in the map which monuments, the same concept, showing monuments that have and don't have images on Wikidata and Wikimedia Commons attached to the Wikidata item of this monument. And you have, I think, the most prominent one is the monumental, used in has specific maps for France, Ireland, Poland, Sweden, UK, and USA. And it's developed by, I'm sorry for the pronunciation, Paweł Marinowski and Stephen Laporte. And it's the screenshot that we have here. And I think I can show the map. Yeah, you see my screen, and this is the desktop version. You have all the information about the contest, and you can go to each country and subdivision of these countries, or you can go to the map itself and you can search, I don't know, France. Let me go to Paris. And it loads all the data, all the monuments in this area, and shows we have 1,780 monuments. This one, I don't have the name of it, but doesn't have an image. But this one has, and it's shown here, and you can click it and upload to Wikimedia Commons. On You can select the images and after you log in, and you can upload to Wikimedia Commons. I think this map is the most developed one at this time. Most of these maps, these interactive maps, use LeftLeft. It is a tool developed JavaScript library developed by Volodymyr Gafonkin, and has support for desktop and mobile devices, and is the most popular library to create this kind of maps, and allow us to customize practically everything in the map. You can customize the marker, the elements shown in the map, and it's a very powerful tool to use it. But it's not used everywhere. And that leads me to this slide that shows the problems with the maps, with maps today and the Wikimedia movement. Is, for example, a workable version of a monuments map that kind of replicates what is done in the monumental map that is just shown to you, is very, 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 very heavy. So the map for the state of Rio de Janeiro, for example, in order to show just the monuments that don't have an image, and you can click on it, see the name, and see the button to upload it to Wikimedia Commons that we developed last year. It has 1.7 million bytes. So it's a very heavy page, and we transclude it to the monuments page, and it's very not bandwidth friendly, and it's a preoccupation that we are even every year we are worrying about this, that it's the bandwidth friendly interface that we promote, because we have a reality in Brazil. I don't know if this reality, I think this reality is not the same in other countries, other developed countries. So it's a reality of Brazil, and I think of other underdeveloped countries or in development countries. That is, we don't have a good bandwidth in all of the places in Brazil. I'm here in São Paulo, my internet connection is good, but how a person from the state of Amapá or Acre or another state in the north region that doesn't have very good internet will access a page that has 1.7 million bytes on Wikipedia? All the data, their data, will go to space, and they won't be able to even see the page. The majority of internet users in Brazil uses cell phones, so this bandwidth is a very proeminent worry that we have. So our pages need to be lighter and not client based, so people can access it in a lighter version, for example. And the maps on Wikimedia are not interactive. You have all the information. You can see all the information. The map on the states of Brazil is an example of showing the information through Wikidata query, but you can't filter once the map is constructed, built. You can't basically can't filter the information you are seeing. And with LeftLeft and other map libraries, you can do this in the click of a button. It's not very doesn't cost much. So in order to improve the user experience of these users that access the photograph contest pages or maps with information in articles, we, as a movement, the wiki has to or should the maps on wiki should be somehow, I don't know how, improved to lower the bandwidth it consumes to open them. That is a very worrisome uh, concept that we are taking consideration when we are developing things here. And the interactiveness in maps in general has the potential to improve user experience with the data it shows. So we need, uh, or we should, come up with an idea of how to make the maps more interactive, so people can discover information by their own. So this is a gamification of concept. The discover people love to discover things, and we don't provide this as of today because we have basically a static map of the current state without making any filtering or making the filtering static. We don't make the choice of how the information will be presented to the final user, and that's not the goal here. And we have another problem that is adding coordinates to Wikidata. There is a barrier in the addition of geographic coordinates on Wikidata. You either do it in the user interface that is screenshotted or is in the screenshot here of this item. You add it, but you can't, for example, drag the pin where the coordinates are, and um, you can't drag the pin to make the precision better. Sometimes you have a coordinate that doesn't have a general coordinate, it's in this area, but the precision is not very good, and you should be able to drag the pin a little bit in this map to adjust, and no, it's not the neighbor building, it's this building, and then make the information accurate. Or you do via quick statements, which requires another layer of technology. You need to make commands in quick statements that are different from the user interface. And quick statements, you don't have even the option to see the map, of course, and it's very techie oriented. One thing that we could do to improve this user experience on the addition of geographic coordinates would be the possibility for the user to drag the pin and adjust the precision. It's a feature that we could add to this map, to the addition of maps on Wikidata. And the results of these mapping of the cultural monuments on Wikidata, I will speak about the Wiki Loves Monuments because it's what I'm most familiar with, but other elements, natural patrimony, folk patrimony, or heritage, this concept applies. It's when we have, I think, not for the intangible heritage, but for everything that exists in a place that we can map it, this concept applies. So we have in this slide the first images of a monument in Roraima that participated in the Wiki Loves Monuments last year. So since 2015, we didn't have an image of any monument in the state of Roraima. It's a state on the north region of Brazil, the most north that we can go in Brazil, in the continental Brazil. And last year we had 2 images of these monuments by Hudson Gomes Santos on the competition that show us a monument that was first mapped in the Wiki Loves Monuments context. So we put the monument on the lists and on Wikidata and appear on the lists, and we put on the geographic coordinates. Most of the coordinates and monuments that we added to the competition, we added by web scraping of information done by a cultural website that gathers all these informations, that is called ePatrimônio, that we are finalizing GlamWiki partnership with them to bring all the monuments, not just the ones that we were focusing, like the state level listed monuments, and now we are bringing the municipal monuments, the municipal level listed monuments to Wikidata through this partnership. It begins in 2019, but it's been officialized this year. So this is an important achievement that we have, because the monument appears on the map, because the monument appears on the list and has a coordinate. People can go there and find it and photograph it. Another example is the photograph of the Real Gabinete de Leitura, Real Gabinete de Leitura, Português de Leitura. That is the winner of Wiki Loves Monuments 2021 of last year. That was announced last week. And a quote, I got a quote of a journalist that published on Media Talks last week, that the photograph is on the photograph about the monument, and this monument is an almost hidden gem that is not part of the itinerary of many visitors to the Rio de Janeiro. And so we have a lot of monuments, especially in Rio de Janeiro, because there's a lot of monuments there. We have a lot of monuments that doesn't make to the tourist maps because they are not touristical instances, or they are smaller monuments, and people go for the most known monuments. And for example, the Christ the Redemptor, the Redeemer, and it's a monument on Rio de Janeiro that is well known worldwide, and people really don't know all the monuments that Rio de Janeiro has and other cities. And if this is a reality in Rio de Janeiro, that it is a big city and was capital of Brazil once, people won't know about the monuments in a village on the northwest region or in the center west region, for example. And thinking about the gamification of Wiki Loves Monuments and other photograph contests, this year, Wiki Loves Monuments Brasil will have an interactive, mobile-friendly map application intended to raise the gamification of the contest. And we want to get feedback from local organizers that can replicate this application. Open source, tools forge based, and implement in their competitions if they want to test it. And but we will develop thinking about these gamification elements, like improve the user experience, uploading the photos, the experience on finding the monument and see that doesn't have an image, or has an image but doesn't have an interior image, or an aerial view of the monument, and has options for the user to photograph it and praise them for it. But first, for this application be meaningful, we need to raise the coordinates coverage. So in Brazil, we have 56, 57 percent of coverage in the monuments, and we need to raise it. And this is a reality for other countries as well: France, Iran, Romania, Armenia, Italy, Poland, for example. All the ones that are below the median coverage. And we need to increase the coverage of coordinates of monuments, and we will do this by adding the geographic coordinates in the monuments. So we need to make the monuments appear on the map. And for that, we need all the people working on the practical activity need first to register at the event on the outreach dashboard, access the lists of monuments. Here's the link, and search for the localization of a monument, preferably through OpenStreetMap, and copy its coordinates and paste it on the corresponding cell on the tabernacle table and save it. I will make a live example here. Let me grab it. I will just open. So this is no, it's not this, I think. Yes, this one. This is a table for the state of Espírito Santo, but we can find other states here. Here's the event page, and we have practical activities in Portuguese, and we have the name of the states, the number of monuments without coordinates, and ordered by the percentage in relation to the total of monuments. So you have the state of Roraima has fewer monuments, so all of them have coordinates, so they don't have any monument left. But the state of Amazonas, for example, I click and list on Tabernacle. I go to the state of Amazonas. It has two monuments. One is the Estação de Tratamento de Esgoto, Chaminé, in Manaus. And we can search it on OpenStreetMap. Let me just rid of this. Manaus. Reservatory sewage treatment station. So we have here in Manaus. I don't know if it's the same, but we need to search for in the internet. And let me grab another state. Let me go for the Espírito Santo one. So, edifício na Rua Monteiro, na Rua Bernardino Monteiro, número 18. We have other properties to fill if they aren't filled on Wikidata, and I will search this. Is in the city of Santa Leopoldina. Leopoldina. No results. That is a fail. I don't. We don't have the number, but we can search other websites that don't get the coordinates from Google, but find where the you can see on the layers. You can see the maps, other type of maps, and you can find the monument. This one didn't work, but once you have, for example, here you click twice on the monument, the coordinate location, and once you have the coordinates, for example, let me just grab I won't add it, but I will just show here. You have the coordinates, it has an error because of this slash symbol. You make a comma and you can add it to the Wikimedia, to the Wikidata property. So I won't add it, but this is the practical activities for each lists. We can work on every list, every person on a list, and uh, add the coordinates, search for the monument, search for the address, and add the address here. For example, this one is Rua Bernardino Monteiro, number 18. The language Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. It will be black, and then the edit is done on Wikidata. We can check it and go here for the street address, Rua Bernardino Monteiro, número 18, Santa Leopoldina, Espírito Santo, in Brazilian Portuguese or in English. I think Brazilian Portuguese is the best for the monuments in Brazil, and you can adapt the table for any location you want, just changing this key ID here in the show table settings. And I think that's it. Thank you to all the viewers and for the people that will work on the practical activity. We will see you there, and it is in a Google Meet that we will have just now at the end of this presentation. And you can see, you can, if you don't have the link, you can send me an email or send an email to eventos with this domain. All right, that's it. I think if we don't have any questions, we have a question from Sandra. And sometimes the monument is recognized by another name, so they don't find in the list. Yeah, it's a comment Sandra made here about the monuments that have a lot of names or nicknames, and they have the same coordinate, and you can make the disambiguation or make the merge by watching the monuments, watching the coordinates on these interactive maps. It's a great tool for maintaining the data that we are working with on Wikidata and these photo contests. So thank you, Nicholas, and I see you in the practical activities. If you can make it, the pages on the events page is there. We always can we can always accept the edits on this activity because it's a continuous work of adding the information to Wikidata. It never ends. All right. That's it. Thank you. Bye.